Today, I'm going to talk about all of the problems that the 1%ers have in Albion Online. That's right, the rich folk, the people with billions of silver, with hundreds of islands, they actually have problems. Let's get right into them. But first, you may be wondering, how do people have billions of silver? What is it that they're actually doing, okay? There's many different paths to becoming a billionaire, but my path in general was that I've been playing since the game launched on and off. And because I'm a YouTuber, I have referrals, which gives me access to every skin every single month. I was able to get the really rare skins early on in the game's lifespan that just continuously went up in price. So whenever you have, skins worth 300 million, 600 million, so on and so forth, you just sell them whenever you need silver. Like just the other day, I was offered, and no joke, 100 billion with a B silver for the Ghost Wolf skin, and I'm not trading it because I'll tell you why. Like I already have 7 billion silver right now. I don't need, having 100 more won't do anything for me because I don't have anything to spend it on. And that's problem number one, is that 1%ers don't have anything in the game to really spend their money on to interject it back into the economy. Yeah, I could sell the skin and then that dude would be at 100 billion and then I would have 100 billion with nothing to do with it. What, give it away? I mean, I could just give it away, but hey, I earned that 100 billion, damn it. But I already have hundreds of islands, which I barely use anymore because I don't need more money in the game, right? And yeah, I could, maximize more crafting just in case a market collapses, but the whole point of crafting in the first place is to make money, but if I already have the money and I don't need more money, then what's the point of crafting other than to make YouTube videos? I mean, that's for me specifically, is if I want to spend money on something, it's so that I can make a funny YouTube video. I mean, just this month, or maybe last month, I forget, I spent 200 million silver just showing how fast you can fame farm using Satchel, using auto-respec, how fast you can actually level up an entire weapons tree if you just used all tomes, just crazy expensive video projects like that. But the thing is, even if you are rich and you worked your way to get rich and wasn't just given it by some random benefactor, you still don't want to give away that earned money, that earned silver, okay? I still feel the sting if I bring a 200k set out into the black zone and lose it to a group of gankers, because to me it's I still had to work for that silver, whereas they just had to have the power of friendship. And then you maybe think that, well, what if you just hired people to be your friend? Just pay people to follow you around to the black zone, give them a gear set, pay them a salary, pay them in-game silver so that they can be your bodyguards. And that doesn't work out either, because people just take the money and run, or they don't do their job properly, or they still end up calling their Discord buddies and killing you anyway. So it doesn't work. There's no real guarantee. There's no contracts. There's no any of the real life stuff of having a job that, ensures that someone will do their job. So that would be problem number two, is you can't buy friends in Albion Online with your billions of silver. But buying friends would just feel dirty and cheap, so don't go in the comments saying, oh, I'll do it, pay me 1 million silver and I'll guard you. I'm not interested in that stuff, okay, guys? But on to the next point. Once you've collected every mount, you've collected every weapon, you've got most crafting specs on alts near maximum, you have hundreds of islands, what the heck are you supposed to spend your silver on? You could gamble with it to make more, or maybe lose some. It might be fun for about 10 to 20 minutes, but then it just becomes a tedium. And one thing Albion lacks is a truly very large money sink. I remember on Neopets, does anyone know what Neopets is? It's like a little website where you raise a virtual animal. They have a system where you can gamble a huge amount of the in-game currency that would take years to accumulate in seconds. You spin a wheel and you can get some crazy prizes doing that, or you can mostly lose your currency. But hey, Albion Online could use something like that for the 1%ers. And you may be thinking, well, if you have so much silver, why don't you just buy out a town and have a bunch of, markets and stuff? And the problem with that is that you're just losing money. Like I said, even though you have lots of money, you don't want to lose it because it was a struggle to get there. I still remember being too poor in-game to afford premium, and I had to grind my butt off and gather 12 hours a day, chopping trees all day, every day, slowly getting that silver up until I could afford premium. And because of that, I have no reason to operate a shop stall whenever there's the cartel just around the corner who is going to force my prices up, and if I don't comply, they will flood my a little shop area, like say I open a potion brewing town little kiosk in Bridgewatch, right? Which I've always wanted to do, but I can't because of the cartel, right? I can't lower my prices below their shop prices because if I do, they and all their buddies will just flood my shop with hundreds and thousands of craftings of low tier materials till it has no more crafting space left, which means the entire station becomes useless for the day. And because they're using the lowest tier ingredients, I'm technically losing money because of the cost to keep the bench fed, the cost to run it, and the monthly upkeep of it I would be losing about 45 to 70 million silver a month. And that's not even considering the buy-in price. So there's just no reason to own one of those currently with the in-game mechanics the way they are. And in real life, this is something for those that know what Walmart is. Like if you have like a bunch of mom and pop grocery stores and little retail stores that just sell this and that, and then Walmart decides to build a mega center in the middle of town, you know what Walmart does? And listen, I worked retail for 13 years, so I know exactly how this works because I've been part of it, okay? I worked for $1 billion retail corporation, and we would open new stores in these towns, and we would lower the prices of everything compared to the competitors. Like one of my jobs, I was something called a scan coordinator for retail, and what that is that I would go around to all of the rival stores, and I would, record all their prices for their products. And then I would go back to the home store of that town or that area, and then I would have those prices lowered slightly below, maybe like 8 cents, 10 cents, 19 cents, here and there, nothing too crazy. But I always ensured that new grand opening store always had the lowest prices as long as it didn't cut below cost, and sometimes it did. Sometimes, retail stores will sell things for cheaper than they paid for them so that they can get you in the door. So this trend would continue, and after about 2 to 3 years of having the lowest prices in the area, guess what happens? The mom and pop shops all close down. They all go bankrupt. They all are forced to find employment elsewhere, close up shop, shut their doors, and so on and so forth. But it goes deeper, okay? Because these billion-dollar retail corporations also negotiated with the landlords of the people that own the mom-and-pop shops, because if they did not also own the land, well, guess what Walmart would do? They would negotiate with the landowner and be like, hey, if you raise rent and you continue to raise rent as much as you're legally allowed every year, then we will rent out the land and keep it unoccupied so that there's no upkeep. And that's a real thing, by the way. So the landowner would be like, yeah, that sounds like a good deal, because the landowner doesn't care what's on the land. They just care about how much more money they're going to make. And when Walmart is willing to pay and own or rent that piece of land and then do nothing with it and just let it rot so that their, Walmart store can proliferate their profits and own the town, essentially, they have the money and the capital to burn to achieve that. And that's how Albion Online's 1% system works with these shopkeeps, with hideouts. It's all a huge metagame for these big rich guys, and I don't want to be a part of that, because to me, I don't find that fun. I don't find that interesting. I didn't play Albion Online to play, retail land mogul, okay? But it doesn't just stop there at shopkeeps and, land ownership. It also, if they see a flux or a change in the economy, they will act accordingly. If a bunch of new people, decide to swipe their card and get hundreds of millions of silver and then max out their crafting, and then they start listing their new crafted items in the market, the cartel knows. The cartel will act accordingly and either spike up the price of the raw materials to the point where it's unprofitable because they have the capital and the money and the resources to do that, or they will tank the market so that you're not making any money until you either quit or change into a different part of crafting that does not affect their profits. And they have this down to the letter. They have everything, spreadsheeted out and marked, and entire Discords full of enforcers with this stuff. It is just absolutely crazy. It's the only other game with a more cutthroat economy would be EVE Online. and it's brutal, man. It is absolutely terrifying. So there's no way, like, I have 7 billion silver. If I sold that ghost skin, that ghost wolf skin, I'd have 107 billion. And that's not even, like, that's a few grains of rice compared to the giant bag of rice that they have, okay? It is insane how much capital that they have over the rest of the player base, to the point where there's nothing you can really do about it. Oh, and they can packet sniff anyone's markets. Like, if you list something on the player market, right, they can packet sniff and find out the character name of the person that listed that sale. And if they see a trend, oh look, Swole Benji is selling lots of beef stews for some reason, we need to do something about that, guys. And they will do it. They will absolutely do it. But there are other problems the 1%ers have that aren't entirely economy based either, okay? As a 1%er myself, because I have billions of silver, one of my main problems is every in-game activity is just not worth the time to do. And the reason why it's not worth the time is because I can just buy the rewards instead of having to manually work for them anymore, okay? So what I mean by that is that if I wanted to level a weapon skill to 100, I can just go buy tomes and then eat all the tomes, read all the tomes, whatever, you know what I mean. And there you go, now my weapons are maxed, and then I can go out into the black zone with my max spec weapon, and then I can deal slightly more damage than I would before. Alright, so I don't need to dungeon grind, I don't need to, do group dungeons, I don't need to do expeditions, I don't need to do open world mob farming, I just do it for the videos. On my alt characters, they don't waste time doing that stuff, I just buy the tomes, play the game, I'm done, it's easy, right? But at the same time, because I've hit that billion point, I don't have a reason to, like, farm on farmland. My farmlands have been desolate and barren and dusty for the past year and a half, okay? I have not even, I think I did 1 month of herb farming for YouTube videos, but other than that, I have hundreds of islands that are just sitting around doing nothing, and let me tell you, like, that is wasted capital, so that eats away at you, even though I have plenty of silver and I don't need more, right? That it's still there, eating away, like, hey, you spend all this silver getting these islands, and now you're just not using them at all? What's going on with that? And I will admit, a long time ago, I tried to rent the islands out to people, like actual trusted people in my Discord. By the way, there's a Discord link in the description. Go ahead and join it if you want. It is 18 years old and up. If you can't join it, it means that you're using an Apple device and you have not safe for work, like, checked or something. I don't know. But, like, I had trusted people in the Discord that I thought were friends, and I would rent them out the island and only ask for 10% of their earnings from their island, or sometimes even less. And most of them would just either not pay, and then I would have to revoke their island access after the month, and then they would just ghost me afterwards, or they would just not bother with the islands at all, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna rent this out to someone else. And the thing is it became a big hassle. It'd be like I would log into Albion Online, and it was just more work, it was more stress, it was more time wasting over literally nothing. And I was like, yeah, I'm just not gonna rent my islands anymore to people, because every single person I've rented them to that I thought was coherent and understood this stuff, they're just using me. They're just trying to get, free islands and not pay the small tax that I ask, in return. And I was very generous, right? Because I think, like, one island, people pay, like, several 100,000 silver per week to use, and I was charging maybe 10% of that. I don't know, man. So being a 1%er, having all this extra stuff that you don't use anymore just because of the time sink, it's just too much time. I'm going to tell you right now, if I was to farm on all of my islands and go to all of my other islands and do laborers, it is an 8-hour shift if I am completely focused with no breaks. That is just click, 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 ride, click, 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 turn in journals, farm, 8 hours a day. And I don't need the silver anymore, okay? And yes, I'm aware I can play 12 to 19 hours a day, but I don't want to. It's boring, it's monotonous, and I don't need to do it anymore. So that's another 1%er problem, is a lot of these things that you would do, you just don't need to do, and it becomes virtual labor. It becomes a job, a task, a bore, a chore. But not just economically or even playability, but also socially. When you're in the 1%, The only thing left that most of these 1%ers crave is just guild members and, alliance members, right? So what they do is they try to incentivize players to join their guild or alliance, but at the same time, they want to make sure that they're making profit off of them, which almost every guild does, okay? You gotta go to the CTAs, you can't loot, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta log in at this time and defend this castle, blah, 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 right? And then their big gripe is that there's not enough new players coming into the game going to Black Zones. Their complaint is there's not enough players to recruit, because these guys, their greed is endless, okay? It's not about money for them anymore. It's about how many territories can they own, how many hideouts can they spring up, because a hideout is only 28 million or something, or maybe it's 35 million now, I forget. But like anytime a hideout gets broken, it's like, oh, whoop-de-doo, oh no, throw another grain of rice into the pile, right? It's insane just how much money these guys have. And, that's where the RMT comes into, is that RMT has been driven so low by botting and automation. Because remember I was complaining how, like, I can spend 8 hours a day tending to my islands? Well, there's bots that do that, and I'm not about using bots or anything like that. I haven't used a bot in a video game since I was like 12 years old, in the old Diablo games. But, oh boy, that's a long time ago. And man, like, these guys, they bought, and they I think the price of silver is like 50 cents. So even real life economically, it's not worth 50 cents to even trade the in-game money for, right? And you may be also thinking, well, what about if you started working the gold market? Why don't you just buy all the gold? Okay, and players have actually done that. There's been some 1%ers who what they did was they tried to manipulate the gold market to the point where they tried to lower the price of premium, and I think one of them managed to get it down to 3 to 4 million at one point in the last 2 or 3 years, just for like a couple days. And that guy got perma-banned across all his accounts. He lost everything because that costed SBI real money. And yeah, so, but also at the same time, SBI employees, each of their accounts are sitting on like 300, 400,000 gold at a time, and that's a lot of silver to be spending on gold for one, but also the game limits how much you can buy on silver. Yes, I know you can have it approved where you can, sell and buy large amounts, but not that large of amounts. You're still limited. And by manipulating the gold market, that just means everyone else that's also a 1%er can manipulate it in their favor. So if you buy up all the gold and then decide to relist it for like 3 million, or 3 million for premium, then someone like me can just buy it all up and list it for 10 million, and then people are gonna spend 10 million. So I just profited 9 million right there, easy mode. And there's plenty of people that are doing that consistently around the clock. They buy when the gold hits the low and they sell when it hits the high, and that's all they do. They just use Albion like some sort of virtual stock market at this point, just for fun. And speaking of, the 1%ers, they have programs that scan every market all at the same time. They have programs that will automatically determine all the items they need to buy from one market and then haul it to the black market in Caerleon. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, apparently, according to a Welsh guy in my comments. I read every comment, by the way. And yeah, so it's just not, like, there's so many problems with the game's economy once you reach that 1%. The thing for me that I hate most is that it kills the fun of the game, right? Because I have no reason to fame farm, I have no reason to ever do a corrupted dungeon, I don't even have a reason to gank other players. Like, you may think, well, that's the whole point of the game, you go out in the black zone, you kill a guy, get his loot. But for me, it's like, that's like 20 minutes of work, when I can just push a craft button for 5 seconds, and then I will earn more silver than killing those dudes, without any significant losses. And at that point, it's like, well, just do it for fun. But the thing is without a team of people in the black zone, it's just not fun. It's just a chore. It's tedious. It's like, okay, here I am fighting this guy, and then 3 of his buddies roll up and dismount, and then it's like, okay, well, I'll still kill him, but I'm not gonna live to escape, because his 3 buddies are gonna hold me down and finish me off, right? And that's the nature of it, right? That's just how it is. And yes, I could go hire people and pay them millions of silver to be my bodyguards, but then no one would ever dismount and fight me. And then it becomes hey, let's take these 10 guys that I'm paying money for, and I'm just losing silver. I'm not having fun. And these 10 guys will hold a guy down for me while I kill him. Like, what is this, The Purge? Where I'm just some rich guy in a mansion, and I pay for someone to come to my house on purge nights so I can, if you've ever seen The Purge, I'm not going to spoil it. But fun movies, by the way, and fun haunted house at Universal Studios. If you ever get a chance to go during the Halloween stuff, it's pretty fun. Very, very cool. I don't know if they still do that or not, but yeah. Anyway, there's so many problems that 1%ers have, and there's not really a way to fix it, and you may be thinking, but 99.99% of the player base will not ever have these problems, and you're right. I just happen to be one of the early guys in who happens to had all of the rare skins that people are paying stupid, ridiculous prices for. Because the real way to become a billionaire is either own the rare skin that someone is paying a lot for, which is how I did it, or you have to literally employ or trick people into working for you, okay? Like a lot of these other self-made billionaires, they didn't do it through the skins. They did it through having an entire guild that makes them money, alright? Or they have like a whole workforce of people that tend to their farms, or bots, or other things. A few people made their riches through duping, which never got, that was a long time ago. There hasn't been another dupe method in quite some time, but other than that, it's just, I don't know, once you hit that 1%, it's, you ever see Squid Game, how like, this is a spoiler by the way for Squid Game, but like, the guys, they're bored, they're rich guys and they're bored and they're trying to throw money at the boredom problem, and I mean, maybe that's an idea. I should host an Albion Online Squid Game. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Only 5% of my viewers actually make it to the end of these videos. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like. I read every comment. I make videos every day, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss tomorrow's video. If you want to leave me a monetary donation for real life, because believe it or not, I am in poverty in real life, guys. I do not have the big money, but if you are a big money 1%er in real life and you enjoyed this video, then I don't know, buy me a new car or something. That'll never happen. That'll absolutely never happen. But just any dollar amount is fine. It keeps me fed, and if I eat good food, I will be happier and more energized for videos, because my diet is mostly beans and rice, because it's the cheap stuff. Sometimes ground beef goes on sale for like $2.50 a pound. Which is really cheap for ground beef now, because it's only like $7 or $8 a pound. Oh my god, how are you supposed to afford that? I make maybe $2 to $3, like an hour. If I worked a 40-hour work week, okay, so that's only like $120 a week. I'm very, very. Anyway, enough about me being poor, okay, guys. Also, you can become a channel member. It's $5 a month. It's like being subbed on Twitch. It's pretty cool stuff. You get access to private, more personal videos. There's a playlist in the pinned comment. Check it out if it interests you. I post videos there that I'm either too afraid to post to the public or too valuable to post to the public. Again, you can check out the playlist before you become a member. If any of those videos interest you, go ahead. $5 a month, man. You get special emotes and stuff too. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. And I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Mwah.